the finale of those MCU shows because like Twitter's just not a safe place to be on if you're not.
Bro,
if you're not caught up.
That y'all have to stay
finale,
up for the show. This show's going to be incredible.
No, maybe
you're like, no, I will be asleep.
I will not be doing that shit. I have to work in the morning, my guy. Fuck that.
I'm gonna be up watching this show. I've already known that I'm gonna have an awful morning tomorrow morning because I have to stay up to watch this show. I'm so excited. I forgot it started today, so it feels like found money.
Dog, I feel like you never sleep. Like I know you're 2 hours behind us, but like I feel like you are up and at 'em at like 6 a.m. We'll be like talking.
I
it'll
wake
be like
up very early.
2 a.m. your time still.
I don't sleep a lot, but I usually go to bed really early. It doesn't ever feel like that on Twitter. I don't know why people think I stay up really late. Usually, if I'm not like doing something or have a reason to, I'm in bed by like 10:30. Like I'll be sleeping very early.
It always feels like you're on the TL when I go to sleep, and then I wake up
and
you're there again.
Everybody says that. I'll sleep like 9 hours, and people will be like, "You didn't sleep." I was like, "Bro, I was in bed at 10 o'clock," but it's just because of the time difference. People just feel like I'm up much later than I am. I'll be in bed early, but going to bed early for me is going to bed at midnight for y'all. So y'all would think I'm up all night, but I'm really not. I'm in bed by 10:30.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we should be recording. Yeah. All right, 3, 2. I don't even know what episode this is. Holy crap.
70. Yeah, something like that.
77.
Our Luka Doncic episode?
Brother, I'm going to push back on that.
It is episode 77. Yeah, it is our Luka Doncic episode. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the One Take Podcast, episode 77. Thank you for joining us for our, what we were just saying, our Luka Doncic episode. Does this mean we get $200 million?
Let's hope. Mark Cuban has to be here.
I would drink that nasty ass Mountain Dew drink that y'all have been pushing it for $200 million. We got that kind of check. I drink that shit every morning.
Would you drink the Mountain Dew spiked seltzer that they're coming out with? Have you seen that shit?
There's so excited.
There's very few things I would drink for $200 million.
No, thank you. Like Mountain Dew cut the check, but I don't want heart palpitations.
I wouldn't drink any Mountain Dew products for that reason. Although I was, back in my previous life, I did like the Baja Blast Mountain Dew that you got to talk about. That shit was delicious.
So fun. I might have to go get one after we record the podcast now thinking about it.
Always good. There's like a limited time where they would sell that in cans and you could only find it you would be more able to find Mountain Dew Code Red, which is objectively bad, than you would be to find Baja Blast, which is their best product.
That's true. At some point, Taco Bell had like a exclusive rights over it, and they signed like a horrible deal, and they should have not signed that deal and just sold it in the stores like every other soda in the world. But apparently, something went weird with the deal, so that's why we could never get it in the store. That's
crazy. All right, the Suicide Squad.
For Mountain Dew drinkers everywhere.
Well, I mean, this feels like it was made by a teenager. The Suicide Squad has a 7.6 on IMDb. It's the newest movie out right now, 2021. It is a hard R rating. It is a little long, 2 hours and 12 minutes. Supervillains: Harley Quinn, Bloodsport, Peacemaker, and a collection of nutty cons at Belle Reve Prison join the super secret, super shady Task Force X as they are dropped off at the remote, enemy-infused island of Corto Maltese. It's a redo of the first Suicide Squad, but objectively better. And it's not even really a redo. We can argue about that because I think it's an extension of the second one. They just said none of the first one even matters anymore, basically, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
It's like a fake sequel. Like there's some of the same like characters in the movie, obviously, but it's basically just like another mission with a different iteration of the Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to act like that first film basically never happened. So it's not technically a redo, but it's kind of redo.
Yeah, I think that was smart though, because they just if they would have just straight up come out and said like this is a completely redo, like we're absolutely nixing the first one and never happened, then you would be like, okay,
you can't do that.
Yeah,
we saw it. We were there.
We were there. It's on HBO Max. Anyway, this is written and directed by James Gunn. Stars Margot Robbie. She's back as Harley Quinn, the role she was born to play. Idris Elba as just a Will Smith do-over. Bloodsport. Yeah, his name's Bloodsport, which is basically the same thing. John Cena as Peacemaker. Joel Kinnaman's back as Colonel Rick Flag. Viola Davis is Amanda Waller, rather. Michael Rooker is in there for 2 seconds. So is Nathan Fillion. Jai Courtney's in there for 2 seconds. Just a spoiler review. Just a host of people that die. Famous people die really, really quickly.
Yep.
But yeah, the main ones: John Cena, Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, Joel Kinnaman, and also I'm struggling to find her name here. Ratcatcher. She's like she's a newer actress. This is like her first big project.
Yeah,
I didn't know. I had no idea who she was. Yeah, me neither.
I was compelled. Let's say.
Yeah, well, yes. Taika Waititi just makes an appearance in here.
Yeah.
I wasn't that compelled. I was like, oh, this is an actress. I don't know. I didn't really think more about it than that. She didn't catch my eye like that.
I am so sorry. I cannot find her name on here. But there, Daniela Melchior, I think is how you pronounce as Ratcatcher 2, which is just kind of funny. This movie, like I said, it has a 7.6 on IMDb, has a 91% on Rotten Tomatoes.
91?
Yeah, 84% audience score, which you rarely see that for a comic book movie. Let's see. From writer-director James Gunn's singularly skewed vision, The Suicide Squad marks a funny, fast-paced rebound that plays to the source material's violent, anarchic strengths. And this movie hadn't made any money.
Nope.
By the way, hadn't.
Really?
Nope.
Damn.
Well, but again,
like
the HBO Max thing we've talked about on this podcast before, like all of it's funny. We have no idea how much money these movies are making because we have no idea what the metrics are behind the wall of the streaming service. But yeah, it's not making any money in theaters.
Well, comparatively, this would have made on a normal. I mean, unfortunately, they got unlucky with, Delta and everything else, and we're just back where we started. But it's so far made $71 million on a $185 million budget. This movie's expensive, man.
James Gunn don't come cheap. I'll tell you that much.
Neither do some of the stars either. This has a lot of star power in it, including who we'll have to talk about, Idris Elba, who I guess just does anything.
Yeah, that man will be in literally any movie. It doesn't matter.
Legend at the bank.
Idris Elba is winning the streaming wars.
Yeah, him and McCarthy are winning the streaming wars. But we talked about the HBO Max thing, and I was having this conversation with a coworker today, and they're talking about, oh, well, you think this would bring people to the streaming? I think the people that are on HBO Max are already on there. It's the same thing with Netflix. Like, this isn't like you're not going to sign up. I know it's like technically free with purchase, but like you're not going out of your way, I think, to sign up to watch one movie. I don't think that ever works. I think you just have to be on the service. And that's why I think that Disney is winning this and making their money back at least a little bit, because they're just like, look, you want the content, you got to pay for it. You know what I mean? You want the new stuff, like you got to pay for it.
Yeah. Do you have children? Have you ever seen a Star Wars movie? Mm-hmm. Do you like superheroes? You got to have Disney Plus. There's no way around it. Like, you just can't not have it.
Yeah. Well, not even in that. It like with all the content that they had, like HBO Max could very well say this, any new superhero movie, like say the Batman comes out next year or whatever, and they say, okay, we're going to do it in theaters, but now, hey, $15, even though it's going to be like rated R or something like that. Yep. It just makes more financial sense that when you spend all this money why release it? I'm glad, because I'm going to go watch it like in a little bit, because I've only watched it once. I watched it in theaters, that I don't have to pay for it. I don't know. I don't hate it as a consumer, but also just financially doesn't make any sense. It blows my mind. I don't know.
They haven't had a ton of those like movies that anybody would actually pay for to watch on there yet, I don't think. But like the 2 or 3 that they have had, they should have done that. Like Godzilla versus Kong, they definitely should have done that. Wonder Woman 84, everybody would have been mad after we watched it, but we probably would have paid for it.
Right?
Everybody would have been pissed that we paid for that bullshit, but we would have paid for it. And this movie, I think people would have paid for it for sure.
Again, I think you can pick and choose which ones you want to put behind a streaming wall, I think, or a paywall. I think you can do it. I know that may upset some creators, but you'd be like, fuck it. You knew what you had when you sold it. When you gave it to us.
Jerry directors. Okay. We're not going to make people pay for your bullshit.
Shit stinks. Anyway. All right. Let's start with Tej. You didn't like this as much as us two, and as a lot of people, I think, really enjoyed this movie. But go ahead. What do you give it? Give it a review.
So obviously, this is a much better film than the first one. The first film was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life, and I watched that in the movie theater, and I was extremely bored. This movie's fine. It just feels like if you've ever seen The Boys, James Gunn was smoking a lot of weed and watching The Boys, and that's how this movie came to fruition. It's funny at times. There's some funny stuff in this movie. It made me laugh. I just like hanging out with John Cena and Idris Elba. I just like being around those two dudes. There's so much about this film I don't really understand. If this is supposed to be like a group of like these criminals, so to speak, or bad people, so to speak, that come together for this mission because they've been forced to. I don't understand the character of Rick Flag, but that would probably mean I would have to remember what happened in the first film. But he just seems like a good guy, so I don't really understand why he's in this thing. But whatever. Like, I had a perfectly fine time. I really enjoyed the last act. Once not to spoil anything, but once the main big bad gets outside of where he's housed,
we can spoiler review
really
spoiler review. It is a giant starfish from space.
That shit looks so cool. I was a little bit high when I watched it the first time. I wasn't high when I watched it the second time. But seeing that color and seeing that character out just doing shit to people was just a lot of fun. The way that they choreographed, the way that it was controlling people, I really enjoyed like the last 15 minutes of this film. It was a lot of fun. The whole inside the Jotunheim thing, and then when it's coming down and John Cena just happens to be about to stab this character at the same time that Idris falls 20 stories to happen to meet him, to challenge him in combat. And before that, John Cena is going to kill the Flag. I can't give a shit about any about that. It meant nothing to me. I didn't really care about the infighting between the group. But once they were all focused on fighting the big bad, I had a great time. Some great gags in this movie. I really liked when they went and killed all the people outside the village, only to realize that those people were good guys. And they had to go like, "Oh, I didn't see anybody. I didn't see any people." And then the
people,
was like, I turned them all into my mom, and then I killed them all. Like, there's some good stuff. Like, there's some good comedic timing in the movie. I thought it was fine. I would probably give it like a B-. It's not bad. I don't know if I'm ever gonna like sit down and watch it again. For DC, it's great. I'm grading DC on a curve because DC is always struggling. But I probably enjoyed. I know Dex said this is his favorite DCEU movie. I probably enjoyed Aquaman and what's it called, Shazam or whatever that film is called.
Yeah,
whatever that thing is called. I probably enjoyed those slightly more, but they're in the same tier to me. And I'm not a big Wonder Woman fan, so fuck those movies. But this is about the same tier as Aquaman and Shazam for me in terms of, it seems like a competent movie. That's what happens when you hire James Gunn. Your movie's going to be competent. This is not give you the magic of Guardians of the Galaxy 1, but it's clear that James Gunn had a lot more leeway to make the movie he wanted to make because of his reputation, and that's important. Like, DC has been getting in the middle of people trying to make the art and trying to fuck it up, and they are fucking. That's why the Snyder Cut exists. That's why these things keep happening, because DC keeps getting in the middle of these people when you if you hire the right people, just let them make the movie they want to make. That's what James Gunn clearly made the movie he wanted to make, and I enjoyed it. I'll give it a B-.
I tell you what it is. James Gunn has a better understanding of this source material of comic book source material than I think of a lot of directors,
for sure,
like that have done these movies. I think he just gets it. Like, there's no reason that Guardians of the Galaxy should be any good at all. That movie should have sucked, like a talking raccoon in a tree. Like but we all ate that shit up for multiple movies, and we're gonna eat it up again. But he understands and knows how to make it work. Like, this is weird. This is a weird thing. This isn't Superman. This isn't Batman. This is
Polka Dot Man.
There's a dude that shoots polka dots out of his face. There's a rat catcher. There's a woman that controls rats. There's a clown. Like,
the massive shark.
Yeah, and a massive shark. Like he gets it. It's stupid, and he knows it. And I said this was the most comic book movie that I think I've seen in a long time. And DC has now made, I guess if you want to count Shazam, but 2 movies that actually have color in them, and both of them have been actually pretty decent.
Yeah,
this and Birds of Prey
actually have color in them.
Man, crazy Zack Snyder. Who would have thought? Oh, eye roll. Anyway, Dex, go ahead.
Yeah, man. So sitting down watching this in the theater, I was like, yo, that was super dope. This is the best DCEU movie that they've ever done. I'm so hyped about it. I saw it on, I think, Thursday night when it first came out. It's Tuesday, we're recording this. And I was telling the guys earlier, I had to go back and watch like YouTube reviews of this movie because I had forgotten so much of the shit that happened.
It's forgettable. I will say it's very forgettable.
Because shit just keeps happening throughout this movie, just constantly.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many characters that you'll just completely forget about. Like I had completely forgotten about that Milton bit that Harley Quinn and them do. And like in the theater, I love that shit. And then it, like just completely left me like 2 days later. So yeah, I mean, I'm not as high on it as I was initially. I'll probably have to watch it again here soon because I did really enjoy it, but it's kind of forgettable. But yeah, man, I think it's a really good DCU movie. I liked it on first watch better than I liked Shazam or Aquaman, which are, like Teed said, the other 2 that I would kind of put as top tier DCU movies right now. Not a Wonder Woman guy at all. I didn't think the movie was that good. Obviously Justice League stinks.
Yeah,
all that. But anyway, this movie I think would definitely be at the top of the DCU list. And we kind of have to be honest at this point that the best DCEU movies are like they're Marvel movies that are slightly grittier. This movie,
Birds of
Prey, even Wonder Woman, which I don't like that much, but other people really like. It's Captain America 1. It's like,
yeah.
Aquaman is Black Panther underwater, and like all these movies, it's like you got to make a Marvel, but just slightly different enough. And you know, people do this thing every time that a new comic book movie comes out, and it's like even just slightly different from the MCU and kind of good, where they'll be like, oh, this is so refreshing. This is just a new spin on superhero movies, and it's so different. And oh my God, I love it so much. And they're saving us from just all the superhero movies being the same. And it's like, no, they're really not. Like, there's just like curse words in it.
And blood.
There's curse words and there's blood.
There's collateral. There's actual collateral damage.
There's a lot of blood in this film.
It's like, no, they didn't, like James Gunn didn't do some like new superhero shit. Like we can all calm down. It's not that incredible or whatever, but the movie is fun. It does have personality. I laughed. I've seen people say that like this movie's not that funny or whatever, but I watched it in a full theater. We were all laughing. It was a good time. Harley Quinn this is the best that she's been in any of those movies so far.
I agree.
Movie. And
even her own movie, I think she was better in this than her own.
She was better in this movie for sure to me. I really like John Cena and Idris Elba together, and I would watch them do just about any movie together at this point. And I think that they would do any movie together at this point because they do the same kind of movies. But
I hope he comes. I hope he comes back for the Peacemaker series.
Oh,
are they making a Peacemaker series?
Yeah, that's why they brought it. Spoiler alert: they bring him back at the very end.
Yeah,
he's alive.
Wait, did I miss that? I thought
they post
credit scene.
I thought the post credit scene was Weasel being alive.
There's another one.
Oh yeah, shit! I didn't see that.
There's Weasel being alive.
I did see that. I did. Okay, I remember. They're like the people talking about. They're bringing him back. Got it. I remember that.
Yeah, and there's like John Cena in a hospital bed or whatever. But yeah, I like John Cena and Idris Elba's dynamic together. They were really funny. Amanda Waller was way better in this movie, way more entertaining. They gave her like some more to do and some more people to play off of, and that was better.
Made her kind of a bitch, like kind of psychotic, like which you would have to be to like agree to just kill people all the time.
Yeah, really? And like having other people who are like, "Hey, yo, this bitch is crazy." Like it just worked way better.
I'm gonna ruin your daughter's life if you don't do this. No pressure. Like you got to be kind of a psychopath. So I like the fact that she's pushing the limits, and everybody else is kind of like, whoa, like, is she on the reservation, guys? Like, she's tripping. She's really tripping.
Oh yeah, I liked what they did way better with her, and I like how they just kept killing people over and over. Like the stakes felt higher because people were dying left and right. Like obviously, like a bunch of the people at the beginning, you're like, okay, some of these people are gonna die or whatever. But then when Harley Quinn kills who you think is the main villain, and he's not the main villain anymore, and we just get him out of here, I was like, okay, this is fun. I like this. So
I like that bit. We'll talk about this. I like that bit. It was completely unnecessary. I liked how well it was acted. It made her look like an actual psychopath. You have Margot Robbie. Why not give her the screen time? Mm-hmm. But it's also just like, you cut that out, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, I will say one of the negative things about this movie, which it's not that big a criticism, and I don't have that many criticism of it, but there are a lot of times where the movie will just stop and they'll just hang out for a beat too long. Like that Harley Quinn scene, they're just like, okay, the movie's gonna stop right here. We're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do this Harley Quinn interlude right here. There's one that they do with towards the end with Ratcatcher. They like, okay, we're gonna have a Ratcatcher interlude right here. Stop the movie, or we're gonna go to this club in whatever the country is called. It doesn't matter. And we're gonna stop the movie right here and have an interlude where John Cena is not an asshole. Mm-hmm. And eventually we'll make him an asshole again, but for right now he's not an asshole. Like they stopped the movie a handful of times, and it's like, okay, we can probably just keep moving it forward. But
you didn't give it a grade.
Give it an A minus.
A minus. Okay. I agree with a lot of points. It is too long. I didn't find it. I was one of the people that there were funny parts, and I was like one of the only ones laughing in the theater. I don't think my theater actually found it. Again, I saw it at noon on a Friday, so nobody was really in there. But perfect time to go see a movie, by the way, middle of the day, no one's there.
That's facts. It's amazing.
I didn't find it quite as funny as I thought that I would, maybe because I'm used to when we were doing these rated R, hard R, like Deadpool, I'm used to the jokes really landing, you know what I mean, and being super irreverent. And there was a lot of the bits between the buddy cop stuff between John Cena and Idris Elba was really good, and them going off and killing all those innocent people one by one and stuff like that, and having a dick measuring contest while doing that was actually, I thought that was really funny. I thought some of the King Shark, I really liked King Shark. He actually had emotional weight, which I thought, I was like, this is gonna be stupid. It wasn't actually, but some of his jokes didn't land as much, but I thought a lot of his stuff was funny. It just wasn't as funny as I thought that it would be. These are just my complaints, and then I'll tell you what I like. But it was gory almost to a fault.
I can respect that. It was a lot.
Almost to a fault, because it was, I don't know. I don't get that hung up on gratuitous violence that much. It doesn't bother me as much as it probably should. But it was just one of those things where I was watching it going all right, do we really have to blow this dude's face off and stuff like that? It was one of those things. But I guess if you establish that we're going to do that at the very beginning, you just have to do that the rest of the way. You know what I mean? So yeah.
When they came out the gate, killing the bird with the tennis ball, I was like, oh, okay, this is what time we're on. This is what we're doing.
But yeah, I think they tried to use, to me, they instead of making actual jokes, they tried to use the shock value as humor. And that was kind of my main complaint with it, where it's we've seen a lot of shit. The shock value doesn't do anything for me that much. I don't know. We've seen it, you know what I mean? By this time in movies, which is a weird thing to say, where it's just I don't know. They tried to use the shock value as the humor instead of actually humor sometimes. And that kind of deducted some points for me. Other than that, them establishing very early on, hey, people are going to die in this movie. Unlike the last one that was called Suicide Squad, nobody died. People are going to die, even including one of the people from the original movie who's in all the promotion and everything, the Captain Boomerang guy, Jai Courtney, who's actually kind of a bigger actor. They're like, yeah, we're killed him in the first act. Like he's just, or first 15 minutes, he's just done. Pete Davidson, who's like kind of a bigger actor now, bigger name, he's done in the first like 10 seconds.
Was he in the first movie?
No one but Harley Quinn, Jai Courtney, who's Captain Boomerang, and
Flag.
Yeah, Colonel Rick Flag.
I was wondering why. Like, I thought that Pete Davidson was going to be a big part of this movie, and then when he died, I was like, "Wait, did I miss something?" Like,
yeah, that was kind of the point. And then they put you with all these other like tertiary, like they kill off most of the big names, and then they put you with these tertiary characters, like a shark and a dude with polka dots and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And which he was the only one with like actual superpowers.
Polka Dot Man stole the show. I could have spent a lot more time with Polka Dot Man. I thought every time he had a bit, it was so funny. I laughed every time.
The bit with him, and I laughed out loud when he was like, "You're all my mom," and it was just like, it just was literally the first time they did that bit, and they showed like his psychotic break of it all being this like this fat woman who's like with glasses and stuff. I cackled. I was like, "That's really funny." So and then the starfish, when the starfish turns into his mom, I was like, that's funny. That's a funny bit. I thought, I did think Idris was actually really good in this superhero. Like, you know, he wasn't super serious about it. Like he's super serious at first, and then he kind of gets in the rhythm with these weirdos, and it's just,
he starts to have some fun finally.
Yeah. See, he starts to have some fun, like actually being out and about and doing it. And I think it was pretty good. Like he could have mailed it in, you know, just gotten paid and done this movie. I thought he was really good. I thought John Cena definitely stole the show. I really do. I mean, this is the kind of thing where it's like, we just talked about how bad he was. I mean, we liked him in Fast and Furious more than
Vin
Diesel, but like, he's still not good. This is the type of,
he needs to be being campy. Like what?
Yeah,
they brought him on the set of Fast 9 to make him serious because he's like a swole dude. He needs to be making jokes. He needs to be being like he is in Blockers. Like we don't want to see him straight laced. That was a weird decision.
He's in on the joke on himself that he's an absurd looking human.
Exactly.
Like he's just too big. Like he's fucking massive in this movie. It's crazy, and it's just like, I think he's in on the joke of how like just big and larger than life, and people know him. That you don't go, oh, that's, you know, as a character actor, Peacemaker, that's playing Peacemaker, like you wouldn't know the guy that's playing Polka Dot Man at all because he's just a character actor that he's just Polka Dot Man. You go, that's John Cena.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And I think he gets that. So when you take John Cena and you don't let him in on the joke, or you don't, and you make it self-serious, it's like now you're just trying to like portray a character through the acting ability, one, of John Cena, and two, that we know that that's John Cena.
Yeah.
You nuked his superpower. When he walked onto a movie set, his superpower is that he's John Cena. He's going to make us laugh. If you bring him on to do F9, he doesn't have any jokes. You nuked his superpower. The reason why John Cena should be there is because he's funny and he's charming, and we like hanging out with him because he's making jokes. That's it. Like, it's that simple. Like, let him be John Cena. It's clear that Gunn let him be John Cena. It was really good. I enjoyed the performance. Like, it's funny.
And we've been watching John Cena for like almost 20 years. Like, I don't know how long it's been, but it's been a long ass time. We know that's John Cena. Let's let it be John Cena. Let movie stars be stars. We're not here to watch John Cena or The Rock or even like fucking Matt Damon and Tom Cruise like disappear into their roles or whatever. We're like,
we want them to be Matt Damon and Tom Cruise. That's what we want them to.
We're watching a movie and we're like, wow, Will Smith is unrecognizable. No, he's not. It's fucking Will Smith. Like, that's why I'm here.
That's why I came here.
Yeah, it's not fucking Jesse Plemons or whatever, where you're just like, he's gotta really act his ass off for you to be like, yeah, I love that guy.
Leonardo DiCaprio is unrecognizable in new role. Like, fam, no, he's not.
I've never seen Brad Pitt look like this. Yes, you have. He looks like Brad Pitt. that Leo of the Children of the Flower Moon or whatever that still that came out, he looks unrecognizable. No, it just looks like a 40-year-old Leo.
Yeah, he just looks
with a
like
bad haircut.
Version of Leo.
I don't know. I think John Cena was really, really funny. I thought he was really good. And I actually thought when he was having like sort of the come to Jesus with Rick Flag and stuff, and I know you said you didn't care. I actually thought that was decent acting by him to like kind of flip that on its head a little bit from going to being this like wise ass sort of sociopath. I'd kill anybody for freedom, which is just a funny motif and funny bit. He's like, I kill children for freedom is just a funny thing. And then to like really start to get serious and dark, I thought was actually kind of cool. I've seen it done better, but the plot device or not the plot device, the filmmaking choice of like staggering when these events are happening sort of thing was, I've seen it done better. And I don't think they wanted to go that deep into it, but you know, like the 20 minutes earlier, 20 minutes later sort of stuff it was fine. I thought it was good. I thought one of the choices they made of like telling you what they're doing now, like rescue Harley or stuff like that, like almost like title cards in a comic book movie. Yeah, that's why I said this
a comic booky.
Like
that's why I said this is the most comic book movie I think I've seen in a long time, where I legitimately felt like I was watching panels of a comic book happen, because there was different things and flashes of color, and like you almost is like if somebody punched somebody, you would have seen like a pow come up on the screen or something like that. You know, it felt like that.
Well,
yeah,
it's like great.
It's kind of like Into the Spider-Verse, but live action. Like it's kind of hard to do that same thing live action that they did animated, but they kind of pulled it off.
All that to say, I give this a B+, like a 89. Like I just couldn't quite give it an A. I didn't find it as funny as I didn't find it as funny as I thought it should have been for what it was, and definitely what you were trying to do. I think it's hands down the best DCEU movie that I think I've seen. Yeah, I really do. I really think it is like, it's the most fun I've had watching a DCEU movie. That's for certain.
Yeah, I don't really know how they can like kind of save that universe and make it make sense together or mean anything or whatever, but they just want to just keep doing shit and going and getting good directors and letting them do good work and putting Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn and things. I'm with it. Like,
well, they say the DCEU or whatever, but what they need to just do is be like, yeah, that's just the name of our company. We don't actually mean this as an extended universe. They just need to pivot on that.
That's just the name of the company.
Fuck it. Like it just, we don't care.
I find it so weird because I think what DC does really well is comedy. The animated stuff is so good. And it's not all comedy. Some of the animated stuff is not comedy, but generally speaking, when they are making things funny, that Harley Quinn animated show is incredible. It's amazing. It's
I've
perfect,
seen,
right?
I haven't seen it in full, but I've watched a couple episodes and it is hilarious.
Perfect. And I find myself the same way with the DCU films. I like when they're doing comedy. I can sit down and watch a Shazam, and as long as it's funny, I'll have a good time. The problem is I haven't found a DCU movie yet that's supposed to be serious that I like. And the MCU gives us both. Endgame has, like, there are funny stuff happening in Endgame, but it's a serious movie. Endgame's a serious movie. Like they're making serious movies, they're incorporating comedy, but you know, like Thor is all comedy. Like Thor is now, they realize we're just going to make that all comedy. It's just going to be funny the entire time. Don't really care about the plot, versus something like the Avengers movies that like have a real plot and they have serious moments and moments of levity, et cetera, et cetera. And they've kind of found their balance. I don't think DC has shown me that they can do serious in a way that I care. And you can't just put a filter on it and say, this is serious, and put him in the desert. And now Batman has a gun. And all of a sudden now I'm supposed to care about that. Like, that's not good. I'm not enjoying this. This isn't fun. And Batman isn't funny. So I have nothing to do here. So when they show me they can make those serious moments mean something and make comedy, they'll be in a better spot. But I've only seen movies from the DC that I like. They're like, yeah, it was funny. So I enjoyed it. Like, they made me laugh, but they can't really make me care about Batman's parents again. Like, they can't make
they can't Superman do it. We've seen it too fucking much.
Yeah,
I think the problem is, well, not the problem. I think Marvel had the benefit of starting with a superhero that, suck it nerds, Iron Man, hadn't been seen in a lot of mass media. That's other fair. Than like a few cartoons and like, but they got the benefit of starting with that. They also got the benefit of this character has this irreverent humor built in. So from that point forward, they were able to put dick and fart jokes and stuff in these movies, and it just makes sense. You know what I mean? They had that ability. Whereas with Batman and Superman, you've known these since the dawn of time.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Superman's almost as old as America. Like, it's just
you can't live in this country and not have seen Batman or Superman like huge media projects at this point. Like, it's just not possible.
And I think the problem is with those superheroes inherent, and maybe I'm just not in the form of mass media, like there's jokes and stuff, but like it's hard to make jokes out of like the dark, like the darkest character in comic books is like Batman, you know what I mean? Like, his parents died. Haha, like, what are we supposed to? His whole ethos is built around the fact that he, like, his parents were killed by somebody. You know what I mean? And he's just searching and trying to stop crime for that reason. Superman's just like this eternal good character. So you're not going to put these, like I said, dick and fart jokes in this like supposed to be perfect character's life. And I just, it's a hard thing that you think that you should be able to make a good Superman movie because it's the most well-known superhero on the planet, but it's just hard now. And I think it's just because people
shouldn't be as hard as it is though.
Yeah.
Like that. I think the mistake that they made with Superman is giving it to Zack Snyder.
Well,
which, I mean, you know, like, that's not to say Zack Snyder's a terrible director or whatever. I don't want to get into that conversation.
Well, we can.
But
I don't like Zack Snyder, but that's fine.
Yeah, don't come for us nerds. But you know, he doesn't make movies for me. Let's say that. But I think that they gave those projects to Zack Snyder, and Zack Snyder has like a very specific idea and like commentary on the whole superhero thing. And honestly, it just doesn't feel like he likes Superman that much. So like, he's making this movie that's trying to like kind of take down like the Superman mythos and like make this commentary.
I don't know, because
like,
he treats him like Jesus.
I mean, kind of, until
there's so much Christ imagery in the Man of Steel movie.
Oh my God.
Go back and watch it. He makes him look like Jesus Christ. It's crazy.
And then you get to Batman versus Superman, and it's like, oh yeah, Superman sucks, and he doesn't care about any of us, and he's an alien, and you know, we can't trust him. We have to have Fox News tell us that he sucks and he's not from here. And Batman has to fight him because he's gotten too big for his britches. And one day he'll go crazy and there's nothing we can do about it because he doesn't like us and he's not from here. It's like, no, fam, like, that's not how Superman works. The Superman character is supposed to work because he was like raised in fucking Kansas, and like he's just an all-American,
and he cares about us.
All-American good guy who gives a fuck, and he's not just like trying to fuck Lois Lane and do nothing else for humans unless he just has to because the monster showed up and no one else can do anything about it. Like,
that's why Smallville worked.
Yeah,
I
feel
agree.
like, yeah,
I agree.
When Superman is like actually a dude at the end of it all, it works. But Zack Snyder decided to make him this god amongst men, and we have to kind of examine what that means and our relationship to it and blah blah blah. And it's like, nah, dude, you could have just made a fun superhero movie where Superman is a nice guy and we like him, we care about him, and we think he's cool. But they do that.
It's so crazy because what DC does, and we've gotten off talking about the actual movie, but like what DC does when you're saying Tej with animated stuff is they have made several Superman properties that are incredible in the animated verse, like different versions of Superman, different timelines, all this stuff that are just so much better than what they have put on screen since like Christopher Reeves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it's nuts to me. But anyway, getting all the way back to the Suicide
Squad.
The Suicide Squad. Yeah, man, I think you're talking about the last final act. I think, yeah, when they pumped up the CGI looked great. This movie looked fantastic. I'll say that. It looked great, but I thought it was
color. There's so much color when Star Wars comes out. But it's like, oh, I didn't even realize that DCEU movies are just like kind of barren and kind of like sepia filtered. This is so cool.
That's the Zack Snyder. That's the Zack Snyder special. Zack Snyder special. He made Superman's suit look gray. Like, how do you do that? You know what I mean?
He took a woman who's known for her red hair, and you couldn't even see that her hair was red before.
No, I just think that whole thing, I didn't know, like, and then they just killed Polka Dot Man at the very end too. Whereas like, I was like, oh, maybe they'll all live through it. And then they're just like, I'm a superhero. And they go, wow. I was like, all right.
Yeah, you're like, okay, we've got some plot armor now. We're in the story. We're with these characters. We're done with people just randomly dying. No, we're not. Fuck you, Polka Dot Man.
Justice for Polka Dot Man. I wanted him to survive. I love Polka Dot Man. He made the movie for me. I love him.
Yeah, I thought he was really good. I will say the coolest part of the movie to me, that one of them, but when Idris puts all of his guns together finally and starts like shooting grenade launcher or whatever, I was like, that's cool. That was actually really cool. It was that whole thing was just a great set piece. And I just realized through that though that King Shark was basically their Hulk stand-in.
Yep.
Big monster. It was basically like their whole thing. But dumb friends
with the little dumb friends, and then they eat it. I did not like. What was the point of that?
It didn't make any sense. It was just a comedy bit, but he was just like, more dumb friends.
When they like are biting him, I was like, well, we just watched this. I guess what was supposed to be a beautiful scene of him dancing with these colorful fish. And then those same fish are just like biting the shit out of him. I was just like, why did we do that? Well, I have no idea how we got it.
Yeah, I don't think anything came of that. That just
I was so confused.
They bite him and then he falls out the window and then
they shoot him about 100 times.
Yeah.
They wanted to do water effects, so they needed a reason for the tank to break.
Yeah, there's something that we missed there. There was something that was like, we got these fish already rendered. We might as well just throw them in there. Like whatever.
I think legitimately they wanted to humanize, like, and make you feel a little bit for the shark character that hadn't really said anything besides like hungry the entire movie, which you kind of actually get. Like they kind of make him a sympathetic character when like he just can't like relate to the humans or have fun or anything like that, which is a good directorial choice because it's like there's no reason you should care about the shark character played by Sylvester Stallone. You know what I mean?
Wait, but Sylvester Stallone played King Shark?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that at all.
Yeah,
that's
brilliant.
Perfect.
Yeah,
the way he speaks is so perfect now. I understand it perfectly now.
Yeah, which is a funny thing because Sylvester Stallone must be friends with James Gunn because Sylvester Stallone's in like a bit role in Guardians 2.
Yep.
Like he's not even credited, I don't think. He just kind of shows up. You're watching it and you're just like, what the fuck? Is that Sylvester Stallone? So he must be friends with James Gunn, but yeah, that is Sylvester Stallone as King Shark. So when he's talking
I did not know that. That's amazing.
When he's talking like hand, it's very funny. Yeah, and just it's a really funny choice to make the guy that talks like this. My name's Rocky. Like to just make him the mumbling shark is very funny.
That is incredible casting. That makes me so happy. I did not know that.
He's like, read book, and he's reading it upside down.
One other thing I want to say about this movie is that they do still do a few scenes where it's like, okay, they did that purely for the Hot Topic merch. like some of the, this was a bigger problem in like Birds of Prey. It was like the entire time you're just like, okay, this is Hot Topic, the movie, Tumblr gift set, the movie.
Birds of Prey was ridiculous like that. Yeah.
But in this one, like they toned it down a bit, but it's still definitely there. And I just went to the Hot Topic website. There's like 5 pages of Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
There's so fucking much.
Yep.
You can tell they were just like, okay, we're going to cash the fuck out one way or another on this movie. We just got to throw in every fucking filter that might entertain the children on this fucking movie.
We do have to talk about Harley Quinn strangling a woman or a man to death with her thighs.
I was very jealous.
Incredible.
James Gunn knew what he was doing. James Gunn knew what he was doing.
One of like the best kills I've ever seen in a movie. Like it just what a moment for us all.
You know what was funny when I'm not exaggerating. When I saw that for the first time, I was like, Dex is going to mention this on the podcast.
Have to. How can you not?
I was like, do that to me. I want her to break my neck the same way.
I need it.
Oh my God, Margot Robbie, snack my neck.
I don't need a neck. I don't need a neck anymore, Margot. Please snap my neck, please.
Handcuffed to the ceiling, being tased. Like this is some cake.com shit right here.
You definitely knew she was a star because they gave her, or at least the most liked character, because they gave her the most moments. And I will say, they should have. And I'm glad they did, but they definitely made it a point to like get her isolated and give her her own sort of.
For sure. They stopped the movie for her like twice.
I don't want to hang out with Rick Flag. I want to hang out with Margot Robbie. Of course,
exactly. Like, I respect it. But yeah, like the people who were sitting next to me in the theater, they're like father and son, I guess, or something like that, and they were like whispering to each other like at the beginning of the movie. When they're doing like the beach landing scene, they're doing like Suicide Squad Normandy or whatever. and they were like, why is Harley Quinn here? She's like just regular. And I was thinking about that the entire fucking movie. Like how is she a part of this team? She's just a regular
Harley Quinn and
Rick crazy.
Flag. Yeah, that's the whole thing about Harley Quinn that I love. Also, she wasn't introduced until like the 90s, but all of a sudden she's become this sort of huge character. Yeah. But like, she don't have any superpowers.
Yeah, she's just a crazy person, and that's
her superpower is extreme feminism. That's what comes from the animated show. That's her superpower.
It's just it's good. She does it so well. Like I don't think
she does it so well.
I don't know if anybody, and she's only like 30, 31, so she can play that character for forever. But like,
oh, she does.
Yeah, keep getting the bag. Keep getting the bag, Margo. Yeah,
just keep doing it.
Like I said, I didn't think it was necessary, but when she was like, I legitimately, that's when I texted y'all. I was like, this makes Harley Quinn look like a sociopath or a psychopath for the first time in any of these movies. Like in Birds of Prey, she was just sort of like quirky and like weird and and like just weird Harley Quinn. But this was the first time that like the Joker-ish sort of side character came out of it when she shoots him in the chest and she's like sort of like talking to him like crazy-eyed and stuff like that. I was like, oh, this is the first time that I think we've ever seen her as a truly like psychopath, which is what she's supposed to be.
That scene was so good, by the way. And when she's like, can't believe this has a bullet in it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, thank you for tying that up. Thank you for doing that for us, James Gunn. I appreciate that.
James Gunn was super self-aware about that, where he's just, that's the thing I like about James Gunn. Like he gets it and he's a little self-aware. I mean, regardless of his previous tweets, but like he is self-aware when it comes to his filmmaking.
No comment on those tweets.
I will say this. Marvel has to feel like the biggest fucking idiots on the planet for being like, hey, you're not coming, we're going to fire you. And then all of a sudden being like, everybody being like, for tweets? And then they're just like, all right, we're going to bring you back. They have to feel so, they have to feel so stupid. Like,
and then the checks cleared and they were like, all right, whatever.
Yeah. Because nobody really cares, I don't think. But you're like, oh, you're going to make another Guardians movie? Dope. Cool.
Yeah. How long were we going to be angry about James Gunn's tweets online? It was going to be that day, maybe 2 days.
And they fired him. They fired him.
But they fired him immediately.
Yeah. When you're on Twitter, especially as much as we are, it feels like when Twitter is mad at something that everyone is mad at something. But then Twitter will stop being mad in like 2 days. And also nobody else would really know what the fuck you're talking about.
You would swear by Twitter that Chris Pratt was canceled 1,000 times, but he keeps putting out movies that make $300 million.
Yeah, like you can't take any like you can take some of Twitter outrage seriously, but like when it comes to canceling people, doesn't happen. Like I'm almost certain I could ask like random people on the street what they thought about James Gunn being fired, and they'd be like, James Gunn got fired. Like, what are you talking about?
I can't even remember. I know there were some creepy tweets about kids, but I can't remember like exactly what the tweets were. And when something is as well liked as like the MCU, there a very small portion of MCU fans are on Twitter every day, like we are. Like a very small portion. Most of these people are kids, or most of these people are parents of kids who are not on Twitter and don't give a shit about who directed the movie. They just want to see Guardians because their kids like Guardians. So it makes perfect sense that like most of MCU fans, most Guardians fans will not know that James Gunn ever was fired, let alone why he was fired. People don't give it.
The cast going to bat for him was kind of weird, but also it was just like I don't know. I don't want to.
Didn't Vin Diesel go to bat for him?
I know Pratt and probably Diesel went to bat. I want to say like Zoe, like they all did, like Zoe Saldana and all of them like refused to like work on the movie if he wasn't directing it.
Vin Diesel that literally ruined our chances of having The Rock stay in the Fast franchise forever.
Right.
But he fucking defended James Gunn. What the
Cancel
fuck are we doing,
Vin Diesel?
Cancel Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
Anybody can say I am Groot.
They can get literally anyone to do that, and I won't give a fuck. They can just use his old lines. Like, just stop.
Just use the same ones. Just get rid of him, please.
Get rid of him. Stop letting him talk about things.
Oh, I hate Vin Diesel.
We didn't talk about that. We were saying, I think like a previous addendum to a previous podcast, we were saying, think like, The Rock's coming back for Fast and Furious 10. No, he made it as much as clear that he fucking hates working with Vin Diesel, and he was rest in piss is basically what he said. He's like, I could give a fuck about coming back to that franchise. Basically, he basically said, I wish them all the best is what he said.
Yeah, like he doesn't need these Fast and Furious movies. It was nice to have him in there, but he doesn't. He's gonna just replace that with some other major film franchise that he can be in as many as he wants to. So he's like, why do I have to keep dealing with Vin Diesel coming on set to tell me you got to act better when I'm a better actor than Vin Diesel already?
No. Not only act better, it's Fast and Furious.
Yeah, no one is coming in here for the fucking acting. Like that's not why we're here.
Yeah,
also he's The Rock. Like he
just acts like The Rock. That's all he does. Like that's why they brought him here.
Also, I don't need this. Like I don't need to take shit from you.
Bananas that Vin Diesel had the gall to be like, hey, you got to act better in this fucking $300 million car movie. Like, give me a fucking break. And I'm glad that The Rock was like, fuck you. Like,
yeah, I'm The Rock. I could like wake up tomorrow and tweet about Mountain Dew and make like $7 million. Like, I don't need to do this.
No.
Somebody needs to find Vin Diesel's old tweets. Somebody needs to find those fucking tweets. I'm sick of that man.
But yeah, crazy. Back to the Suicide Squad.
Oh, we got to talk about.
Can we talk Idris?
Yeah, we got to talk about the Suicide Squad because we got to talk about Idris Elba because we got to talk about Idris Elba doing anything, and we also got to talk about Dex Hinton getting packed up today, mini pack, because he said that quote Idris Elba is not a serious actor; he's just British.
Can you tell us what you meant by that tweet before we talk about Idris?
It made it sound like you said that Idris Elba is not a good actor, which isn't what you were saying, but
that's how I read it sounded
like.
Yeah, okay. So I said Idris Elba is not a serious actor. He's just British. What I meant was that, there are some actors and actresses who we see in stuff and we're like, oh, this is going to be good because Daniel Kaluuya is in it. And Daniel Kaluuya is a serious actor who does serious shit and he wins Oscars and we all love him and he's just so talented or whatever.
True.
And apparently people feel this way about Tom Hanks. I got a lot of like Tom Hanks mentions today.
That was weird. That was a weird shot across the bow. Like there's
apparently people feel strongly about Tom Hanks and his seriousness and whatever, despite whatever movies he may be in. But anyway, I was just saying that we take Idris Elba way more seriously than his filmography would suggest that he takes acting, because this man is doing Fast and Furious spinoffs, not even Fast and Furious mainline movies. Just he'll show up for just a spinoff. This man played fucking McCavity in Cats.
Notoriously great film, by the way.
That movie is one of the worst movies I've ever seen, but so entertaining to watch in a theater full of like just theater nerds who wanted to come see the
It's gonna be the next Rocky Horror Picture Show. It's gonna do that. Anyway, continue.
But yeah, he'll do fucking Fast and Furious spinoff and Cats back to back, and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Not the original Sonic, like this man.
The second one.
This man saw how like
as Knuckles, the side character. He's not Sonic.
Yeah, we talked about Sonic the Hedgehog back in the day when it came out on this podcast, early days of this podcast. Go listen to that episode. Shout out to Olive Garden when you hear your family. But that movie is like not good. And Idris Elba was like, fuck yeah.
That movie is not good.
I'll be in the sequel. This man did, what's that animated movie he did that none of us gave a fuck about? Was it Spies in Disguise? Was that him?
No, that was Will Smith. Same thing.
He did one of these animated movies. Doesn't matter which one. This man do the fucking Dark
He
Tower
did the Dark
movie.
Tower shit with McConaughey, which I'll say is on the same trajectory that you're talking about, because Matthew McConaughey doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey will do literally anything. He's just like, just come out here and do whatever.
My favorite bit about Matthew McConaughey, side note, was a sketch. You can go and find it when he was just basically doing the True Detective character over and over and over again. And somebody made a skit about it, and they said, I visited a shaman and I did ayahuasca for 12 days. And he told me this great piece of advice. He said, read the scripts before you do the movies. And so now I only do good projects.
Some other notable, like just unserious, well, not unserious, but just not serious movies that Idris Elba has been in. Daddy's Little Girls, Tyler Perry joint. This man was in This Christmas, playing alongside Chris Brown. This man was in Prom Night. He was in the Ghost Rider sequel with Nicolas Cage.
Yuck.
Prometheus, Pacific Rim. He was in all the Thor movies.
He's like the fourth lead in Thor.
Yeah.
He's like the IP king. He's just doing IP movies and cashing very fat checks. He should be appreciated. I love the fact that he'll
you know how they say like one for me, one for them. He does like 18 for them, one for me.
The only movies that are for him are the ones with the massive paychecks. He doesn't really care what the movie is.
He doesn't give a fuck what the movie is.
He dedicates himself for the 2 months he's on set. And he goes to get another check. I respect it.
He puts in good performances in these shit movies, but I say he will do anything because he was in NBA 2K20. Like this dude will do anything.
But yeah, we think about Idris Elba as like this elite actor, and he needs like to be getting all these like super serious roles or whatever and acting his ass off. And like, he's good. This is not Idris Elba slander. I think Idris Elba is great, and I will watch him do just about anything. I went and saw Cats. Like I am who I am.
I bought NBA 2K20.
Idris Elba, not a serious actor.
I think it's so fascinating because it's like there are some people that do these kind of movies, but you know that they don't have any real acting chops, so they didn't really have a route that they could go. Vin Diesel was never going to become like some dude who went to Juilliard and some dude who was acting in like B movies that are indie B movies that were made for $15 million but have incredible performances. That was never going to be Vin Diesel's path. Mm-hmm. Idris Elba kind of has the acting chops where he could have done what he wanted to, but he's just like, I could be The Rock. Why would I want to be fucking? Why would I want to
not make money?
Kaluuya?
Yeah, why do I want to not make money for this shit?
Yeah, he's like,
I can be The Rock. Like,
I'm hot.
I don't want to be Jared Leto. I want to be The Rock. Like, I'm good looking.
You know what I think it is that people love him because, and it's women love him especially because he's hot and he's British, like you were saying, and people are like, oh shit, this dude's
got it. He's got it. I don't know what it is, but he's got it.
I can go try to win Oscars and be super talented and make X amount of dollars, or I can be The Rock and I can make as much money as I want to, and I can be acting in the dumbest movies ever, and I can live in the biggest house that money can buy.
Which is crazy because you know that he can act because he's been in 2 elite TV shows.
Facts.
Like Luther and The Wire. And then people still swear by The Wire, and I think that's very funny that you were talking about that, Dex. What were you saying? That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, Stringer Bell's been dead for 17 years, guys. It's been a long time since Idris Elba was Stringer Bell.
Yeah, and Luther, by all, it's funny because Luther's only like 20 episodes. I love what British people do with their TV shows, where it's just like, all right, we're gonna have 5 episode seasons over 17 years.
Yeah,
like. Luther just stopped filming in 2019. There's only like 10 episodes.
Yeah, there's like next to nothing in Luther. And also, Luther also gets kind of ridiculous like towards the end of it, from what I remember. But
yeah, I mean, he'll literally do anything, but then he like will pump out like one of my, like I said, was one of the best Netflix original movies, and one of the an incredible performance that I think he was robbed of an Oscar for. Beast of No Nation is one of the best performances that I've seen in.
He was really good.
In this decade. So like it's just he has the chops, but I think it's just like he cares about like DJing and shit more than like he cares about acting. Like acting's his like his actual job, like his 9 to 5, where it's just like, you know, my 9 to 5 is doing news and stuff like that, and like I come on here and podcast. He's like, but my real passion is DJ.
Now that I'm looking at it, honestly, Beast of No Nation might have been the point where he was like, you know what, fuck it.
If I'm not getting
the Oscar for that, yes.
Beast of No Nation might have been the exact moment where he was just like, you know, I don't give a fuck what they think about me. I'm gonna get this fucking money.
It really might be, because he plays like a true piece of shit in that movie. And everybody was like, yeah, it was before they started giving Netflix actual Oscar nominations. They're like, is he good enough to get an Oscar nomination? He was the starting point of that. And then he didn't. And then so he must have been like, fuck this.
He's like, all right, so we chasing the checks, and he's been doing that ever since.
Also, have any of y'all seen, he was in a Mandela movie? Did any of y'all watch that? I didn't watch it.
I did not.
No, that's not the Mandela movie that I watched.
Yeah. I saw Invictus, or whatever that Matt Damon one was called.
Yeah.
But yeah, Idris Elba as Nelson Mandela in Mandela Long Walk to Freedom. If any of you have seen it, please tweet us and let us know how
I'm sure he's great in it. And
that was like when like 3 Martin Luther King movies came out in the same year. I think that was the same year that Invictus came out.
Yeah, we can only ever honor like one black person at a time through film, and Nelson Mandela had his moment.
We have to choose. We have to choose which of these films.
Yeah, apparently Emmett Till is going to have his moment next year, which is strange.
Who's playing Emmett Till?
Someone I don't know, but
probably an unknown because he was young. But like also,
he was super young.
I don't want to watch that.
That's going to be an extremely rough watch. A tough hang right there. It's going to be an extremely tough watch.
I am okay. Thank you guys for
TJ at a party. TJ at a party. Hey, y'all want to watch the Emmett Till movie?
I'm just gonna put that on for a date night. Hey, you see this Emmett Till movie? We gotta watch it.
Great.
Yeah, you're just watching Lovecraft Country, and then all of a sudden it's like we're at Emmett Till's funeral.
Oh,
I was like, yeah. Why?
Why are we here?
I don't want to do this. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. Just the same year, like Sue Me, same thing as like 12 Years a Slave or anything like that. I don't know if I'm gonna watch. My white guilt won't let me watch that, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, like 12 Years a Slave, Roots. Like, I'm just not doing all these slave movies, like the Underground Railroad, like TV show that apparently is pretty good.
That looks fantastic. I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing any slave movies except for Django, which is the greatest film of all time.
That Janelle Monáe horror film, like whatever it was called. I'm not doing that.
The weirdest plot twist of all time.
I'm not doing that.
Antebellum,
that's what it was.
Yeah, like, I'm good. No, thank you.
No, final thoughts on the Suicide Squad?
I watch another one. It was fun.
I don't think they'll do it. I really don't. I think they're done, probably.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna watch the Peacemaker series because John Cena is awesome. Go John Cena. I'm in.
Yeah. I thought
that shot of him shooting through his bullet. That was
incredible.
Cool. That was cool.
And I like how they built to that.
Yeah.
I like how they like kind of foreshadowed that and built to that. I like how.
What do you think about him falling down the tiers? I thought that was kind of a funny bit. He just kept doing it. I don't know.
It didn't work for me, but I was like, whatever.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Anyway, Dex, sorry,
I've been there. Like Ratcatcher and what's his name, Bloodsport, Idris Elba. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
how they were like on the bus, like talking about how they were going to save each other or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they save each other. I was like, okay, cool. I like a little foreshadowing. That's great.
I think giving him the fear of being afraid of rats is like just a kind of funny or good sort of thing where he's like,
my dad locked me in a box with a rat. Like,
I'm not gonna lie though, she's like thousands of rats or millions of rats on this island, like because you're waiting for her moment because she doesn't really do a lot in the thing, and you're waiting. And also her rat sidekick friend was really funny. I thought, and I heard somebody on another podcast say if they killed that rat, I was gonna riot. Which it was like I don't like rats as principle. On principle, I don't like rats. But like that rat was cute. It was like,
yeah, I fuck with what's his name? I don't remember.
Yeah, but like her moment. So, and that being the thing that takes down the starfish was, I think, that was pretty. T just fighting with a dog. But
sorry,
no, you're good. That being the thing that takes down the starfish, I think was like kind of telephoned in, but like you could kind of see it from a while or coming from a mile away. But also Idris Elba is like in the fetal position. I would be too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot of rest.
Fuck that. Black Plague. Oh no.
I was just like, how do you people live on this island with this many fucking rats? Like I just, no.
They're on an island. The rats got to go somewhere, man.
I'm like, I would just rather die to the starfish headbands. Like I don't need to try and rebuild my city just knowing there's millions of rats.
Right. Also, I will say this: them making that like the starfish like face sucker things being like permanent, like that actually kills you. I think that was a good twist because it's like. Several of these movies will be like, oh, where the starfish dies and it comes off and all the
people are alive.
All the people are alive. And it's like, no, you see in the experiments that they're conducting that if you cut the starfish off, like you're cutting their face off.
They gone.
Yeah. So I thought that was a good sort of little twist. Like it was actually, there's collateral damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right.
The last thing that I was going to say about this movie is that I definitely thought that Amanda Waller had died, and I was kind of disappointed at what she had. She got
domed. Yeah, she got domed. I mean, big time. I didn't think that their whole sort of that group was as funny as I thought it was going to be. Like when the dude was like, "We got a fucking kaiju in this bitch," I was like, "Oh, come on!" Like you trying a little hard here.
I thought they were hilarious, bro. And like they're taking bets on who would live and who would die.
That was funny. Yeah, that was funny.
Like, this is office culture.
All right, we are going to do. I'm going to just say bad movies that we think should be remade.
Yes.
Draft.
A do-over draft.
A do-over draft.
Do-over.
All right. Right after this ad break from Apollo Houston. All right. Let's go. Dex T. Droyden.
Let's do it.
I'm not going to live tweet these. I'll go back and tweet them tomorrow. But
no, you won't. But that's fine.
I will. Damn it.
It's been like 18 drafts that you hadn't tweeted.
Yeah, you're right. I'm a fuck up, but that's what I will tweet.
Social media czar over here going viral, and then getting packed up the next day. Crazy turn of events for you.
Just wild. It's summer league for the tweeters too. All right, we're just getting shots up, trying to see what works, trying to see what doesn't.
Hey, trying to build chemistry.
Build good
amazing.
habits.
That's amazing.
But yeah, so movie do-over draft, first overall pick. I wasn't expecting that at the first pick. So I like the pick that I'm gonna make is probably not first overall pick worthy, bit of a reach, but it's Alita Battle Angel. A movie that came out like just a couple years ago. I think it was 2019 or 2018.
It was right before the pandemic, I think.
Yeah, and like it was decent, but it could have been so much better. Like there was a lot of things that they just kind of fumbled like at the 2-yard line, and they were almost there. But I did like the movie, and I think I saw that it was originally gonna have a sequel, like that it got greenlit.
Well, they made it for like $150 million. They needed that movie to have a sequel.
Yeah, and I think like even after it kind of flopped, they were still going to do a sequel, but then the pandemic happened, so I'm not sure if they're still going to do a sequel or not.
Was that a James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez joint? Like, what a weird pairing.
I thought it was Spielberg.
Wait, did you say it cost $150 million and needed a sequel? Like, if it flopped, why would you make a sequel to a movie that cost $150 million and didn't do well? Why would you make that?
Critics liked it. I think it just did not like it. It was like 1,000% CGI. You know what I mean? Like it was just all CGI. So it just had that sheen, and I think people are like, nah. Well, you know, it cost $170 million to make. It made a worldwide gross of $404 million. So it like
it made its money back, but like not. They were expecting like a new $1 billion property or whatever.
Yeah, they didn't turn into that.
But
there's a James Cameron and Robert Rodriguez joint. What a weird pairing.
Yeah.
That's why they gave them $150 million budget, because those two guys were involved.
But I did like the movie. It was really cool. The action was really cool. The CGI, it was a ton of CGI, but like it was decent. It looked good. The story was good enough. The character Alita, she's really cool. It just
huge cast.
Just didn't all come together quite right. And I think if they make a sequel, I hope it's like a soft reboot kind of thing, or it's like I would watch them just do a do-over of that movie. I thought it like had a lot of potential.
Huge cast: Christoph Waltz, Jennifer Connelly, Mahershala Ali, Ed Skrein, Rose Salazar, who has been in a few things, but this was our first big role. That's kind of stinks for her anyway. All right, Tej.
This is the easy one for me for my first choice of the draft. I'm taking the Purge franchise. Best idea ever. The execution's always shitty. I still watch them because I like the idea so much. But the movies are just bad. Like they're not well acted. They're like not very well written. They're just like not very good.
First one's fine, so cool, but they've jumped the shark.
They've gotten so bad. So I just want to start over with a new director, new vision, like a couple A-list actors, not just like we're gonna keep bringing in B and C-list actors. Give it a real budget. Make another Purge movie with people we like. Call Idris. I know that guy's gonna answer the phone. You just gotta pay him.
He'll fucking do it right now.
He'll fucking be on set tomorrow.
You know why they won't do it? Because that is like the crown jewel of the Blumhouse market. Yep. It is the crown jewel of, we struck gold with this concept the first time for like $7 million.
Yep.
And a lightly used
$60 million. Yeah. Because
they made a lot of money off that first, like a lightly used Ethan Hawke. That's who was in that movie.
Lightly used.
And it was just like, it was a weird time in Ethan Hawke's career. But that movie, hold on, The Purge came out in 2013. Oh shit.
They've been doing this movie for 8 years.
Holy hell.
$3 million.
Yeah, $3 million to $90 million gross.
That's insane.
Yeah. And they have just completely just gone up from there. The next movies just make more money. Yep. And they make them like PG-13 or even like a soft R for a reason, because like 17-year-olds just go see this, 16-year-olds go see these movies. They'll never reboot that franchise. Not once.
It makes me, I wish we could get really good movie makers making movies in the space or with that concept. I just like the concept so much, but the movies are just like, oh, it's fine. They're enjoyable, but I'm the problem because I'm the one going to see all these movies. And so I'm always going to be there. So they're just going to keep making these cheap movies because I always watch them. I just enjoy them. So.
Never seen them.
I watched one of them, like just a random movie night with friends in college. Like they just put it on, and yeah, it was really dumb, but like we had a good time. Yeah.
The Purge seems like one of those scripts that was like thrown around in Hollywood that was like on the blacklist or whatever for best scripts that haven't been made or whatever for years. And then like Jason Blum got his grimy hands on it. It was just like, I'm gonna make this for $3 million and we're gonna make a fucking killing. And they just like butchered it, you know. Anyway, my first pick, if you've been listening to the podcast for a long time, we're the only podcast that talks about this movie. In Time.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna pick this movie.
Another high concept movie that just was the worst. It was just the worst poorly executed movie ever. Like incredible social commentary of the welfare state. And I mean, you're literally paying for things with your lifespan. Mm-hmm. Like that's an awesome concept. And they just fucked it up with like a
so hard in 2021.
Yeah. Oh my God. Like with just like a Justin Timberlake movie. They just made it like
yeah.
Bro, can you imagine like the conversation, like if that movie was made in 2021 and hit Netflix tomorrow, like
right. Netflix movie, everyone would watch it. They would lie and say 1 billion people watch the movie, and then but it would be talked about online, and it'd be talked about for about a good week, and which is about as well as you can say for like the news cycle. There'd be like 18 memes based on it, and be like, oh man, I had to pay for my coffee today, and it'd be like somebody scanning their arm or whatever. But like, it's such a good concept, man, and they just fucked it up. It's
such a good one. That's a really good decision because the concept is so dope.
My next one is all right. What was the last Star Wars that they made? Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Remake that shit right now. Just say that last movie didn't count.
Just say LOL, that didn't count. And
we just joking, guys. Just joshing. We're just joshing.
What a piece of shit film, man.
Oh, I hate that movie.
I was so angry, man.
I've never been more disgusted, I think, leaving. Like, we've talked about it incessantly on the podcast. We don't have to like do it a lot, but like I never been more angry leaving. I felt like they thought we were stupid.
Oh, you mean when they had a Palpatine and that whole storyline that happened in a video game that none of us play? What the fuck are we doing? Well, I came to watch a film. You're telling me that the stuff that happened before this film happened on Fortnite? I don't play Fortnite. What the fuck is happening? I'm in a Star Wars movie. What is happening?
I felt like they thought like, and I don't know, because I don't even think Star Wars, because that's what Star Wars nerds wanted. And I don't even think they liked it.
Yeah, they did this thing where they were like, okay, some people were very upset about The Last Jedi. And, you know, some people liked it.
A good movie. Suck my dick.
It was fine. I did not think it was the greatest movie ever. I thought it was fine.
I'm not like a Star Wars person or whatever, but to me, The Last Jedi is some heat, bro. Like,
there's some good shit in that film.
And that shit was so dope. But yeah, they were like, there was a lot of controversy with The Last Jedi. So we're going to, you know, try and go back to play the hits. And we're going to get all the old people back. Palpatine is back in this bitch. You know, there's romance here that wasn't here before. Y'all are going to love this shit. We're getting rid of Rose. Fuck Rose. She sucks. Like, we're not going to talk to Finn anymore.
That poor woman.
And they did all that shit, and everybody was like, no, this is worse. Why'd you do that?
Even the neckbeards that they tried to appease were like, no, we hate this fucking film. Like, they didn't make anybody happy.
They were like, wait. What? And even the people that want to just go see a good sci-fi movie like me, which I love Star Wars. Like, I've loved Star Wars. My dad showed me Star Wars when I was younger. Like, we went out of our way to go see the Phantom Menace when we were young. And it just, I'll never forget how excited my dad actually was. Like, side note, to go see the Phantom Menace when that came out, and how like disappointed he was leaving the theater. Like, I was only like 6 or something, but I'll never forget him being like, "Oh shit!"
The pain in his eyes you saw, like, damn, Dad.
Like Jar Jar Binks farting and shitting on screen, and he was like, "Fuck." I waited 28 years for this.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Anyway, but like it really did, like, it wasn't Disneyfication, wasn't anything. They just failed so hard. It's crazy. And everyone, even the neckbeards were like, I don't know about that one.
Insanity.
Not going into a trilogy with a set storyline is a wild ass move.
That should have been the biggest movie of all time. Like, that movie should have been shitting on Endgame and Avatar's box office. It's a fucking Star Wars closer. And they just fumbled it so badly.
I will say this, which is a really weird sort of bit of trivia that I've learned. China doesn't fuck with Star Wars like you think.
Oh,
like they don't give a fuck.
Right.
They just didn't get the original run of Star, like in 79 or whenever it came out. No, 74 when it came out. They just didn't get the original like run of it. So like with the reason that Endgame and like Avengers, they've always gotten Marvel shit. Always. It's just ingrained now. With Star Wars, it's like not that big. I mean, it's big, but it's not like what you would think. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's kind of a weird sort of thing. Those movies, I mean, the last movie still made $1 billion. So like J.J. Abrams
should have made at least 2. Like, if Star Wars nerds wanted to rewatch that movie, like just the American ones, that movie would have made $2 billion. But they watched it and were like, this shit sucks. I never want to think about it ever again. Never
watching that movie again. That shit stinks.
I will never watch that film again. It doesn't exist on that bridge.
Shout out to John Boyega. I watched Attack the Block for the first time the other day. That dude deserves a lot more praise because he handled himself incredibly well in the face of just getting cut out of a movie he was supposed to be a star of.
I just got so triggered again.
Anyway, next pick.
My next pick is The Irishman. I don't hate The Irishman. It's a perfect.
It fucking stinks. I hate that movie.
But why did we have to have a 4-hour film with old people when we could just make a very good film, a very compelling film that's 2 hours with young people? I wanted it to be so much. I was so excited for this film. It did not give me anything. I like it more than most people, but it's bad for all the reasons that people didn't like it. I wish we could just start it over and do The Irishman again. The concept is so cool. There's so much good shit there. There's such a good story there. Like the actual book that it's based on is amazing. I just wish that we could make a much better film out of it. So I'm gonna go with The Irishman.
That movie stinks, bro. I'm sorry.
I wanted to like it so bad, man.
Movie's bad.
Was made for me, and it's just I could not do it, bro.
I will argue till I'm blue in the face that movie is actually bad.
Yeah, like I get what people want to see in that movie, where they're like, "Oh, it's his retrospective of Scorsese's career," and he's like got the whole gang together, and they're just reminiscing on blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's not good though. Like that's not.
Shutter Island deserved to be nominated for 10 Oscars before The Irishman deserved to be nominated for 10 Oscars.
When Robert De Niro beats up the dude outside the grocery store, and you can physically see that he's not actually making contact with.
That he's 80. That he's 80. You can see that.
A piece of me died. I said, "Oh, I this is the worst moment of my life." It was awful. It was awful.
I mean, keep Pacino, keep De Niro, keep. I love seeing Joe Pesci back on the screen. It's incredible. After finally watching Goodfellas. I love seeing Joe Pesci on the screen, but
just let them play old people.
Let them play the old people. Right? Don't let get DiCaprio in there to play a younger version of De Niro or something like that. Like pay the money. You know what I mean? Just like do that instead of like aging them down, which I know we've been trying to do, and they do it well in Marvel movies. But you're not asking like Martin Sheen to run around and kick people in the face.
And there's already CGI and hair in Marvel movies, whereas With the Irishman, like we want us to feel real. Like just hire some young people to play the young versions of these old people that are the stars of the movies. We saw it in The Godfather. Like they didn't fucking DH somebody for the guy. Well, obviously it's the
They
Godfather
couldn't
in the 80s. But like just hire somebody else. Like it doesn't. I wanted so much more from that film. So I'm going
also, this movie, like this is not a story, and not a framing of a story that needs to be a 3-hour movie. Like we didn't need this.
We don't need to get into.
We don't care about Jimmy Hoffa. We don't know who that is.
We don't need to get into the minutia of unions.
We don't know who that is.
Like for people me and Roy's age, Jimmy Hoffa is the old guy who got disappeared. That's all we know about Jimmy Hoffa.
He went into the forever box and never came back. We never found him.
Yeah, like we don't give a fuck about Jimmy Hoffa. Why are you doing this? What? Fuck that movie, man. I'm sorry.
Anyway, all right, Dex.
All right, so this one is a famous TV show. They tried to make it to a movie and failed because they gave it to the wrong person. The Last Airbender.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck that movie.
Been so good.
Who directed
that movie should have been so good.
You want to know who directed it? M. Night
well,
Shyamalan.
I have no comment on M. Night Shyamalan. I'm going to refuse to acknowledge his existence.
Like they mispronounced his name. They I don't know.
They tried to change the rules of how like the bending works in the movie for no reason that made no sense. It's just so bad. It's bad as a movie. It's bad as an adaptation of the source material. It's like it just stinks. And like I honestly don't know how you would make an Avatar: The Last Airbender movie that is like based on the original story or whatever. It's like just repackaging it, trying to cut it down. But you can do it way better than M. Night Shyamalan did it.
That's like regarded as one of the worst movies of all time.
It's one of the first movies that I can remember. It's one of the first movies I can remember going to the theaters and being disappointed because like I was a child when this movie
like actively hating. That's yeah.
Well, I was like, oh, this sucks.
Oh, this isn't fun at all.
Because that movie came out in what, like 2008 or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, it came out in
They gave this to M. Night Shyamalan after he did The Village.
Yeah, that's criminal. That's a criminal decision.
Viacom, answer for your sins, please.
Which is crazy because now they're doing a live action Netflix show on this, and the creators left because they're like, the creators of the original animated show left and said this doesn't fit with our vision. They did the same thing in the first or in the live action movie. Yeah, they did the same thing, and they're like, yeah, this doesn't really fit with our vision. You're changing our vision. That means this show's gonna suck ass.
Like the studios need to stop calling them if they're trying to change their material and say, let's just get somebody to make what you guys think we should make. Let's try that. You've already made this thing that people like. We might as well just defer to you and try to listen to you. If they're walking out, probably stop calling them and stop trying to make their fucking thing into something else.
And like they fucking knocked it out of the park already, man. There's like zero bad episodes of Avatar.
Like I watched it when I was a kid, but like not in full. Like Caitlin made me rewatch it. It's still it holds up as an adult. That's crazy. That just shouldn't happen.
It's so fucking good.
It's like rated TV Y. Like it's rated like TV youth. You know what I mean? It's just like, and you go back and you watch it and you're like, I'm having a great time watching this show. It really is.
To this day, hasn't aged a bit. Like even the animation doesn't look that old. Like going back and watching it now, but yeah, they should have been able to make that so much a better movie. And my next pick, this is one I'm not going to talk about nearly as much because I don't care about it nearly as much. But I Am Number 4.
Oh yeah,
that movie should have been so good, and it just wasn't.
Oh yeah, I remember watching the trailers for that movie. It was like during the middle of the YA craze, and I was like,
yeah, when they were just adapting every single YA novel into a movie.
They wanted that movie to be so fucking. They wanted it to be like 18 movies.
Yeah, and it was a decent concept. Like there was some cool action or whatever, And like if you tweet about it now, you'll get people who are searching for I am number 4 content on Twitter and who will tell you this movie is actually good, but it's not, and it should have been. And like there's like superpowers and a lot of guns and like car crashes and shit, and it's like it should be a good movie and it's just not, and it would be much better in 2021. And even if it wasn't actually better and it just came out in 2021, they put it on Netflix with actors we've heard of, people will watch it anyway and enjoy it a lot more.
Back when we were trying to make Alex Pettifer a thing.
Yeah, he definitely not a thing. He was also in Time, apparently, like right after.
They're putting every hot person in that movie. So many hot people were in that movie. Anyway, Tej, next pick.
My next pick is King Arthur: Legend of the Sword.
What? Really? I thought people liked that movie.
I hated it. And it also didn't make its money back. So maybe people did like it, but not enough people saw it. Also, I do not like Charlie Hunnam, or however you say that man's name. Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, no, sorry. I was thinking of, never mind. I was thinking of the kids movie King Arthur that came out right after.
Oh, that. No. This is the Charlie Hunnam one.
Yeah.
I like
a Guy Ritchie movie, which is crazy.
Yes. I like the story of King Arthur. I think that there's been a lot of good media made about King Arthur. I was excited for this film. I just don't like Charlie Hunnam, and I'm not really a big Guy Ritchie fan either, if I'm being honest. So it didn't do anything for me, and I was just like, this story is so cool. I kind of wish that we could do it better and make some money off of it. But Charlie Hunnam, they were betting on him being a movie star, and I wasn't. But I also did not like Sons of Anarchy, so he was never really somebody who really interested me very much.
Half of that movie looks like it's from a video game cutscene.
That's another thing. It's weird. It's weird. It's just a weird movie.
Why can't they make good King Arthur adaptation?
You know what's funny is like I remember really liking the Clive Owen King Arthur movie back in the day, and going and looking back on it, you would be shocked how that is reviewed. People hated that movie. That's like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes.
People hated it.
Yeah.
And then there was that one with Jamie Foxx and what's his name?
Taron Egerton.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Everyone did. Nobody saw it in the first place, and it wasn't good. But they just can't make good King Arthur movies, apparently.
The King Arthur movie sponsored by Kanye.
Yeah. Apparently people like The Green Knight, which is kind of a King Arthur-ish.
It's Arthurian it's an Arthurian tale, but like
I don't like that movie that much, but we can
I want to watch it, but I don't. My next pick is Avengers Age of Ultron. Fight me, nerds. I think that movie could have been way better.
That's a great choice. I hate that film.
I think like people like I've gone back and like, it's not that bad, Dex. I've been like, it's not that bad. It could have been better. Yeah, it could have been. They made in the if you go back and watch the trailer, just go back and what, like, Joss Whedon should be tried for crimes against humanity. They go back and watch that trailer, the I Have No Strings on Me trailer, and James Spader's voice is the most I have no strings on me. It's just the most menacing voice I've ever heard in my entire life. Incredible. And they just made him like do piss and shit jokes.
I'm sorry, bro. That movie is
it's bad. Sorry.
It's so much better than you remember it being.
Nope. No, it's not.
It definitely is. It's aged so well. Listeners, if you haven't watched Age of Ultron in a minute, go watch it again after seeing the latest work in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and you will understand that Kevin Feige is a visionary. He had the game plan all along. He laid the foundation. He put in the work, and then it paid off later.
Tej, back me up here. That movie should have been better.
I hate it. I hate it.
They had this sentient. They had a sentient. Oh, really?
I hate it. That's the part that everybody else likes more than me. I do not like this Spader performance at all.
They had a sentient AI, a menacing sentient AI, and they made him do like fart and dick jokes. Like,
killing me.
Come on. Come the fuck on.
It's good. It's good. Damn it.
Wait, did you say the Jamie Foxx movie was the King Arthur?
Oh, it wasn't King Arthur. It was Robin Hood.
Okay, I was confused. I was like, wait, did I miss something? But I was like, oh, that's Robin Hood. Okay,
I'm tripping.
That movie, the Russell Crowe Robin Hood, is another one that I could put on here for movies that should be remade. But
yeah, just all those like olden days white people stories, like they just don't have good adaptations. We need an umbrella term for that.
Man, what do I?
The last good one was like Gladiator.
Maybe. Honestly, I don't. Shit. What do I want to go with here? Because there's a few you could like put like a lot of Will Smith's stuff in here.
Yeah.
My last choice is a Will Smith film, so I hope that you don't steal my Will Smith choice.
Man.
Give us the hottest, spiciest one that people will be the most upset at.
Oh, well, shit. I already gave you Star Wars because knew that will upset some people. I don't really have a spicy one. I will say, okay, I'll do this because I still love this movie, but they could have done it better. I Am Legend needs a better work.
Okay.
Yeah, I Am Legend. So much potential there. There's so much potential.
I Am Legend deserves like an all-time Will Smith performance, by the way, in a bad movie. Oh yeah, a mediocre movie. Like
it's a mediocre movie.
Yeah,
it could have been better.
Especially like how they did the zombie things. Make those better. You got to do better than that, man. You got to do better. You gave Will Smith everything. He gave you everything too. And then the movie made a lot of money and like got decent reviews. But the zombies in that are so bad. Like, I think that was one of the last great Will Smith performances, to be honest. And that was like in 2007. Although I think
who would have thought that would be one of the last great performances we saw of Will Smith at that time? You should have thought that.
Yeah, no. He was on such a heater. I think King Richard's going to be great, but
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna. I Am Legend. You need to just get Will Smith back. Do it again. I don't care. Like just like do the same movie, but redo the zombies. Go ahead.
My last pick is also a Will Smith movie, and it's a movie that sucks. It's awful. It's called Hancock. It's a terrible film.
Oh yes, yeah.
But before the twist happens in Hancock, it is awesome. It is perfect. I was loving every second of this film. And then about 30 minutes into this film, the twist happens and it becomes a complete piece of shit. I that feeling of being on that high, being like, Will Smith has done it again. This is fucking awesome. He's cussing, he's drinking, he's a fucking superhero. I love this shit. And then the twist happened. And it was like, oh, this is the worst movie of all time. I wish that we could do that film again, but let's just hang out with Will Smith being a drunk superhero, doing like stopping people from committing petty street crime. I would watch that for 2 hours.
I rarely say this. Take Charlize out of that movie.
Yes, exactly. We love Charlize. Don't get me wrong. But that whole twist is so stupid. I just want to hang out with Will Smith. Like I could not believe
the Will Smith Jason Bateman buddy cop thing is.
It was so good.
Awesome.
And then
that movie came out. That movie came out on my birthday, so like we were like, "Let's go to the movies for my birthday." We went to watch Hancock. Me, my mom, my dad, my little brother, and we got out of the movie. And my parents like were sitting in the front seat of the car, and everybody was like, "That fucking sucked."
Well, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy about that movie is that it visibly runs out of money. Like you rarely see that. Like there was rumors are swirling around that movie. It made its money back and then some, like just on the back of Will Smith. Like that's how big his star was at this time. He was just sucking in it. Like he was incredible. Like he was just franchise. He was the Rock basically for a time. And for young people that don't know, but Will Smith was big. But that movie visibly runs out of money. It's so crazy. Like the CGI is bad. Like they kind of like rush the rest of the story. Is that a Peter Berg movie?
I think so.
Yeah.
I wish we could do it again. I just want to hang out with Will Smith. But again, that goes back to this angst that I feel about the latter half of Will Smith's career. Just like this dude was a fucking meteor, like he was everything, and then for whatever reason, due to his choice in scripts or just bad luck or whatever the fuck, we just like did not get the second half of Will Smith's career that we deserved, and it frustrates me because I love Will Smith.
I'm ready for a 50+ like late career rebound for Will Smith.
I hope that King Richard is the start of him doing smaller, serious roles where he's really showing the acting chops and stops trying to be an action star. Like, there's nothing wrong with transitioning.
He's a fantastic. I'll hold firm that, I mean, like, he is a movie star. Like, I will hold, but I will also hold firm that, like, he is. It's the same thing with Tom Cruise.
Exactly.
He's a great actor, fantastic actor.
Yep. But also a movie star.
But also, it's a weird paradigm that he's in. But yeah, the Hancock was
like we were saying, we're never gonna watch a movie and be like, "Wow, Will Smith disappeared and did this role." No, he didn't. Like, it's Will Smith.
He can still win that. He can still win an Oscar for that shit. But like, it was a great performance. But yeah, it's Will Smith. Hancock was, and I heard this on another podcast, Lights Camera Pod, that I was listening to today, and they were kind of doing the same thing as us. They didn't do a draft, but they were asking their viewers for that. And somebody said Hancock, and the host said that was one of the first superhero films in a long time that was like, oh, superheroes can also be pieces of shit. And that was such a great concept.
I thought the concept was so cool. It's like, he's a superhero, but he's just like a complete piece of shit. I loved it.
He's a drunk asshole. Like, that's awesome. That's fantastic. You know what I mean? Like, and what would happen if he just what Superman just hated himself?
Yes. He's like, incredible. Superman fell into depression and was living a life that was extremely harmful to his physical well-being, but also like saving people. Sign me up for that. I'm in.
Start of that movie is incredible. He like rips the back off of a car. He like, he smashes a train. Is incredible. Dex, final 2 picks.
It's my just last pick. I don't have 2 picks.
Oh, sorry.
I was like, I don't have a second.
Final 8 picks, Dex.
My last pick is another like very recent movie that just should have been so much better. It had literally everything. It had the cast. You would have thought it had the director. It had the music guy from Game of Thrones and Westworld. This movie had every fucking thing and like just was not good at all. It's A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh yeah.
I got blocked by Ava DuVernay on Twitter for saying that. I hope.
For real?
I said
that's amazing.
I said, like, this was before the movie even came out. I was like, if A Wrinkle in Time is trash, y'all are gonna have to explain like some of this Ava DuVernay hype that I've been hearing, something to that effect, right? Because like
that's not worthy of a blog.
Ava DuVernay was like,
she must have known it was trash. She knew it. She was like,
she had to.
She was throwing out blocks like
she
candy.
Knew that shit was trash.
Like, you're fucking searching your name out here and like blocking people who are like having questions about this movie before it comes out. But Ava DuVernay was like the hottest name in the world, like at that point, like coming off of 13th and Selma and like all that other stuff. And then like the cast has Oprah, Reese Witherspoon, Mindy Kaling, Chris Pine's in that movie. Fucking Bellamy Young is in that movie, who I love. Shout out to Scandal. Michael Peña's in it.
Oh, we dropped Teach, but they pushed that movie so hard.
They pushed that movie heavy. You were like, okay, this is it. Another huge like Disney book adaptation that's gonna do big numbers. It's gonna be amazing. Everybody loves the Wrinkle in Time books. It's gonna be so awesome. And then you watch the movie and it's just like, man, this is nothing.
What was this?
Like that. This is just a nothing movie. There's zero substance to it whatsoever. Like there's a bunch of cool colors that happen at you. The women have some like cute lines, and that's it. You don't give a fuck about what's her name, Storm Reed. You don't care about her dad, Chris Pine, her long lost dad or whatever.
Which is crazy because they want you because it's Chris Pine. They want you to care about that guy.
You're supposed to care about him, and it just doesn't matter. None of it matters. You watch the movie, you get to the end, and you're like, what did I do that for? What did anyone do this for?
Disney has a few of those in the past few years that have like failed hard.
Yeah.
Like Tomorrowland or whatever it is, and like with George Clooney.
If you go back and look at like failed movie franchises or whatever, like I did to prepare for this draft, there's a ton of like
John Carter,
the Lone Ranger.
Oh. They want an Army Hammer to be such a big thing. Oh, so sorry for that guy.
Yeah. The Army Hammer looked the part all-star. But he just
God.
Didn't have it and is now creepy. I still don't know how much of that was a joke, how much of it was real. I don't know. The line is blurred.
There's a few of these on here. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is like a FX TNT banger, plays all the time.
Shout out to friend of the pod, Jania. She fucking loves that movie.
I actually kind of like it, but it's like, go back. It's not good. Never forget that Sean Connery, instead of taking like $100 million payday, RIP to that guy, but like he, instead of taking $100 million payday with the Lord of the Rings, did League of Extraordinary Gentlemen instead. So there's that. Catwoman. Yeah, that needs to be remade.
Yeah. Also, the Dark Phoenix storyline, run that back in the MCU, please.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That should have been so good. And they tried it like twice already and they fucked it up both times. MCU, run that back for us in like 5 years.
It's been the worst movie of both of those times. That's so crazy. How's that happen? All right, let's wrap it up. This has been a One Take podcast. You can find us at One Take Pod on Twitter, One Take Podcast, on all of your streaming platforms. Go subscribe, download, follow. Really appreciate it. But Dex, where can they find all of the dopest Houston merch?
Go to apollohou.com and find just the dopest Houston merch like that's available anywhere. We've got Astros shit. The Rockets are good right now in the Summer League. Jalen Green is exciting.
Summer League champs, baby.
Yeah, we coming. And we're going to have like some fucking dope merch. Now the Rockets are going to be fun and interesting to talk about again instead of being sad.
Jalen Green, Al Green's latest hits is my one contribution.
Fucking incredible work out of you. Like we're not graphic design people.
Nope.
So you're not going to see any graphic design work out of us.
Ideas guys.
We're ideas guys. We dropped some gems in the group chat and you'll see them on Apollo HOU's Twitter, Apollo Launchpad's Twitter. Just follow all the Apollo Twitters and go to apollohou.com, shop the merch, use promo code OneTakePod, ONETAKEPOD, 10% off. You can buy a One Take Pod shirt if you want, support the pod. They're very comfy.
Yeah, I will say that you should also please go leave us a review on iTunes. It really does help us a lot. Like the last review that I think we got was in April, and I'm going to keep calling people out until they just go, I know you are subscribed to us on iTunes. I know.
Yeah, we've seen the data.
Yeah, we got more subscribers than we do reviews, so that's not acceptable. Go subscribe, download, and leave us a review on Apple iTunes, 5-star review. We really appreciate it. I don't know what we're doing next week. What are we doing next week? We haven't even figured that out. Maybe a throwback review?
Maybe. Yeah. Might be time.
Who knows on this One Take podcast? But
I know exactly what we're doing.
Yeah,
today,
what are we doing?
Tomorrow and forever.
Forever.
# support Florence Pugh. Definitely a serious actor. Also British.
Oh, yeah. Both things. All right. We're out. All right. Oh, I hate that.
It's so creepy. But that was